Hey comic fans, welcome back to the Comic Fix, your one-stop shop for every single thing DC Comics, to some creator-owned, to a little bit Marvel. My name's David, and welcome to the Comic Fix. Now, in today's episode, we have Boom Studios, we have Dark Horse Comics, and we have Image Comics. It's all creator-owned stuff, and let's dive in with issue number 1 of 6 of Sands of Anarchy. Now, you may be wondering, is this going to be any good? Because usually when I see a comic that's based on a TV show, a lot of times it is absolute garbage. Well, in this case, it is not. I really did like the way how they kind of start out the book. You see this girl, she's having some problems, she's seen something, and her boyfriend's trying to tell her, hey baby, don't cause any problems. If you cause problems, shit's gonna get real. And I just love the interaction between her and her boyfriend. You can just really feel that the tension, and that whatever she saw is something that she knows she's gonna die for seeing. So what does she do? She goes on the run. She goes to, of course, the Sons of Anarchy. I like the feel of this book. The feel of this book is just like the show. You felt like you're seeing a little bit of the missing pieces to the show. Because usually with the television show, it'll start out the season, it'll finish the story arc, and then it'll go a couple months or even a year or two into the future, and then we start off with our new story. And here it feels like one of those stories that was never told, and I really like that. It really feels part of the history of the Sons of Anarchy TV show. One thing I was looking into in this issue is that would new readers be able to come in who have never watched the TV show and be able to get what's going on? I do believe that the writer in here, he does a very good job at explaining the motivations between Tiggs and his daughter, and all the situations that we have our characters going through. You get to see you see Gemma in here, and he gives like a little brief thing saying the history of Gemma, and it just felt all very natural. It wasn't like he was like forced into telling this, but it was just naturally put into the story. I really like this issue. It was very interesting, and I'm definitely going to be picking up issue number 2. And with issue number 2, I really wanted to ramp up, because this was a lot of setup, and I would like to see where the setup goes to next. This is a very interesting premise, and I think that if you are a person who likes a television show, give this book a try, but just don't feel like you have to, because you really don't. So, Sons of Anarchy by Boom Studios gets a 3 out of 5, and I really can't wait for the next issue, because I think that this book could be something special for the people that like Sons of Anarchy. Now it's time to take a look at some Image Comics with Ghosted, issue number 3. Now, Ghost has an interesting premise. A guy, he is told to get a crew together and do one thing: steal a ghost. Now, how would this guy do this? Well, it's just the adventure that you have to read to see. It almost kind of reminds me of, what was the show called? Leverage. It almost reminds me of the show Leverage, where you got these con artists and they're all doing their part to get the job done. I love just the interesting premise of stealing a ghost. So, to steal this ghost, they're in this mansion called the Trask Mansion. This mansion is haunted by some very evil ghosts. This crew will not go in there at night. So what they need to do is call out these ghosts in the middle of the day. What they need? Well, they need to go and steal something from their boss, which is a voodoo mask, which will possess the person that wears the mask. And from there, it's just an interesting story that comes with it. I just don't know where this book is going. I mean, I'm just reading from page to page to page. I'm just like, how are they going to do this? What's really going on here? Who is who in this book? I mean, you don't know everybody's motive, but what you do know is that shit is getting real. Now, the only downside I could say about Ghost issue number 3 is that when I first started reading it, I had to actually go back to issue number 2 to kind of get a generalization of who these characters are, because God forbid I forget about who characters are. That's one of the bad things about reading so many comics, is sometimes you just get lost with all the different comics and you kind of think, what the hell happened last issue? So I went back and read the 3rd issue first, and I was like kind of like confused about who was who. So I went back and read issue number 2 and then issue number 3, and it all made sense. Now, I would say if you haven't read issue number 1 or 2, kind of pass on this issue, because you're not going to really get what's going on, or you didn't even get a synopsis of who these characters were. I think if I would have got that just a little bit of tidbit in there, I think I would have, like, everything would have clicked. I would have been like, okay, I'm good with this book. So if you haven't read this series, I would say wait till the trade comes out, because with Image, their trades are cheap and they come out quick. But if you have been reading issue 1 and 2, don't miss this issue, because there's a lot of fun stuff to see. And I don't know where this book is going to go, because this writer has me intrigued. And that's what you want out of a comic. So I'm going to give Ghosted issue number 3 a 3 out of 5. The last book I'm going to be taking a look at for this video is Dark Horse's Brain Boy, issue number 1. Now, Brain Boy was the original series back in 1962. I think it was a limited series, about 6 issues. And now it's being revamped and rebooted for the new age. Now, with it being titled Brain Boy, you would think to yourself, is this going to be any good? Well, let me tell you guys, this is a pretty interesting premise. So, our main character is called Agent Price. Now, what he can do is he can read people's minds and he can levitate stuff, and is so kind of interesting. Now, he works for United States Secret Service. Now, his job for this day is to go and protect a diplomat from a different country. Now, he gets this weird text message that that some guy saying, I need to talk to you. He goes to this location and the guy tells him, I want you to go inside this diplomat's mind and find out what his plans are and some secret information. He obviously says no, but what comes out of this conversation is something that's going to be very interesting in the next couple of issues. Now, one thing that I like about the story that I wasn't expecting was the point with Agent Price. You get to see a little bit of backstory about him as a kid and seeing the government, how they trained him and how they basically manipulated him. And seeing the situation that he gets put in at the end of this issue makes you go, oh my god, this is why I love comics. Because when I saw the last panel, which I will never show because I think you guys should go read this book, just put a smile on my face and was like, you know what? This is fun. Because a lot of times in comics, they're just dark and gritty for dark and gritty's sake, but this book right here can have a little bit of fun with a little bit of dark in there. I had fun with this issue. I was not expecting that. I went and read it a couple times for this review just to get like some points, and I enjoyed it. I mean, the artwork in here was okay. I mean, there were some points where you saw this guy's beard and it was like, oh, funky. You were just like, I don't know what happened here. Probably the artist got rushed. But Dark Horse is putting out a couple of great things, and this is a reboot that I wasn't expecting until I went to saw the books that came out this week, and I thought, oh, this is a #1 issue. I'll give it a try. And you know what? I liked it. But here's the kicker. Dark Horse Comics, I've been buying all my comics this week digitally. And what I found out is Dark Horse, Boom Studio, any of the independent studios out there, even Image, they all, after a month of having their book out, they cut the price to $1.99. Except for Image. Image just cuts their book down from $1, where Boom Studios, Dark Horse, every single other studios besides Image, they take their $3.99 book, which on day one costs, to $1.99. So what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be buying this book digitally for $1.99, and I'm going to enjoy it. What I plan to do is I plan to have a new web series coming out called Digital Bargain Comics, where I'm going to be taking a look at some comics that are slashed down half the price that they would be at this time in your local comic book store. Because I was just looking at my comics, I was like, a lot of them, at my comic shop, I don't know if I'm going to get it, and I know I can always get it on digitally, and I'm thinking really seriously about going all digital. Now, does that mean that I won't go and pick up some comics now and then, like Scott Snyder's Batman, just have a complete run of it? Yes, I will be doing that, but I'll be buying it digitally also. Because as you can tell in this video, I had more clear pictures in here when I was showing the panels, and I found out I could do a lot more with the digital and trying to digitally edit it into my videos than what I can do when I just take a picture of it with my camera. So I'm going all digital, guys, and hopefully you guys will kind of do a little bit digital and your comic shop, because I am going to be still supporting my comic shop. I always will be supporting my comic shop, and I'm going to be going and buying trades of the books that I read digitally and I really like, and I'll go and buy them in trade once they are in trade. So that is it for this video. Let me know, guys, what comics out there in the Dark Horse, Image, Boom Studios, even Valiant, that is really good right now that you would like me to check out, because there's a lot of cheap books out there digitally, and I'm ready to read, guys. Now let me know below on what series I should be looking out for and what series I should just go and try out. So this is Dave from the Comic Fix. Subscribe, like, you guys know the deal, and I'll see you guys next time with some Marvel and some DC.